Hello, hello. It is about 8 o'clock Monday evening. Can you hear the birds fighting? They're on my fence here. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't... I can't zoom, but I'm assuming you can see them there. Chit-chatting. I don't know. So, it's not really sunny out, but it's just enough to sort of bother my eyes, so excuse the sunglasses. So, I just thought I'd pop in. I wanted to share something. My youngest and I we just got in from our walk tonight. And I think we did about 45 minutes down in the point. In Canatera Park, well, a portion of Canatera Park. That park is huge. I've mentioned it before. We were in the part down under the bridge, down by the bridge, because it's always nice and breezy down there. And I'm going to see if my pop socket will hold my phone for me here. That'll do. That's so much easier on my hands. I'm sorry if the angle sucks, but whatever. We had a nice walk down by the river. It was beautiful. And he's so cute, you know. He was telling me back when they were in school, we somehow got on the subject of gym class. And I was telling him, you know, back when I was in school, I did everything in my power to avoid gym class. Not that I had a problem with sports or anything. I wasn't particularly sporty, but I did enough of that crap at home with my brother. And my cousins and stuff. Didn't want to do it at school, too. But I'm not the competitive sort. Like, I just don't care. And I don't like to run for anything. Like, if I'm running, beware. There's something very bad behind me, and it's probably got a weapon. So, gym involves generally a lot of running. I just don't care enough to bother. But he was telling me about the games that they played in gym class. And one sounded a lot like British Bulldog, and I can't remember what he called it. But I remember British Bulldog and, what was the other one? Red Rover being banned from the schoolyards, like when I was, like in grade 4 or 5 or something. I was in grade 5. Maybe grade 5 going into grade 6. Because by then we weren't playing it anymore. You know, grade 6 is junior high. Nobody plays that shit anymore. But, I can't remember what he called it, but it was basically British Bulldog. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, oh, so if you change the name, you can play it. I don't know. Whatever. But it was a really nice walk down by the water. And we always have a nice chit-chat, the two of us, right? My eldest went out for ice cream or whatever with his girlfriend. He's probably upstairs gaming now. But it was his day off, so, you know, let him do whatever he wants for days. Next day off, I'll have him do some stuff. Help me out around here. But on the way home, I had my music on my phone playing because I can't stand the bloody radio. There's too much talk. And I have gotten in the last, off and on for about a year and a half, but I've been going hard for the last few months. Has anybody heard of, if you're on the YouTubes, you've probably heard of Tom McDonald. I go hard for him. I've downloaded a whole crap ton of his stuff and put it on my phone, and I adore him. I think he's brilliant. I think he's lyrically very gifted. The man doesn't do songs, he does poetry. And beyond poetry, he paints pictures with his words. Like, it's just, I love him so much. And so when we were coming home, one of his songs came on, and my son's just jamming. I've made a Tom MacDonald lover out of my youngest boy, and it's like, okay, so we started doing a tour around the city. Just drive. I said, "Do you want to drive around for a little bit?" He's like, "Yeah." All right. Well, we drove around for a little bit. It doesn't take much to make it from one part of town to the other part of town. A couple of songs, really. So we did that, and then we had to sit in the driveway and jam out a little bit because another one of his songs came on, and he's singing away. If you've never heard any of Tom MacDonald's music, his most popular stuff is extremely political. It's very common sense stuff. I don't know why people get their panties in a bunch, but it's the internet, and that's what they like to do, so. But, yeah, my son knows a handful of his songs, pretty much word for word. It's amazing because he's a rapper, and he raps quite quickly a lot of the time, especially when he's, like, going off, so it's really funny to listen to my youngest try to keep up with the lyrics. It's funny. He gets all tongue-tied. It's like a challenge, right? Play it again, I'll get it this time. It's so cute. Okay. I like those times where I can spend time with one kid or the other, like on one-on-one time, right? Their needs are so vastly different because they're 9.5 years apart, right? Like, one's got, a foot halfway out the door, and the other one's just sort of starting to find himself, right? So it's nice to sit down and just talk, right? My eldest isn't really one for talking. He's very quiet, unless he's got something on his mind, and he comes down and he mindlessly rants to me about gaming stuff, and we have very similar taste in movies. He'll keep me up to date on the latest slasher film or something that's out. What was he telling me the other day? He was talking to me about James Wan, who's a director that we both very much enjoy. I think it was him. He was telling me there was a new movie coming out, some new Conjuring movie or something. I saw the first one, but I guess this is a third one that's coming out now. I can't be bothered to keep up. I don't keep up on movies like I used to. I used to be really big on it. Music, too. I used to be really big on. Now I'm kind of stuck in my era, as us old people get, right? Stuck in our own music. Although I can be forgiven for that because of my undying devotion for Tom MacDonald, because he is entirely outside my genre. I am not a rap, hip-hop person, never have been. Mainly for the content. The content to me is absolute garbage. I could give a shit about hoes and guns and drugs and cop killing and killing your mother and all that crap. Not to say that there isn't any of that. I'm a punk metal rock and roll kind of girl, but not to say that there isn't any of that in that music. I don't listen to those either. in in those genres. That kind of content has never interested me. And Tom MacDonald is like the only rapper I've ever heard that doesn't in any way talk about that kind of crap, and when he does, he's putting it down. So and I respect any independent artist. I think that's amazing. And the fact that he's Canadian don't hurt neither. Just saying. But you know, yeah, I think it was James Wan that my eldest was talking to me about the other day, this new Conjuring movie. So I said, well, I guess I'll have to watch the 1 and 2. I don't even remember most of 1. I saw that back when it first came out, crying out loud. And then I don't know, we'll have to stream the 3rd one, I guess. Do a family movie. My youngest is starting to get into creepy movies, and I won't let him watch anything crazy, but I think the Conjuring movies would be okay. I don't recall them being... It's a lot of jump scares, as far as I recall. And James Wan is really good at that kind of... Like, he can be creepy without being gory. Not that I don't appreciate gore, I most certainly do. My dream job back in the day, the reason I became a hairdresser, actually, I'd originally taken makeup artistry. I went to school for, fashion, runway makeup, photography, film, theater, like normal makeup. But I specialized in cosmetic camouflage, like hiding scars and that kind of thing, and special effects. I am a sucker for practical special effects, not the CGI bullshit. It's garbage. It's a cheat. But practical special effects. And when I graduated, everywhere that I applied to, all the local theaters, I was living in Toronto back then. It's where I'm originally from. All the TV stations and the theaters and all that stuff were telling me that they were looking for somebody who could do hair and makeup, which made sense. So, okay. We did very basic, like, updos and stuff like that, because it was technically a cosmetology course. I mean, it was makeup, right? And then the medical side of it with the medical makeup, the medical camouflage, and the special effects was the big money drawer for people, right? Because who doesn't want to be knee deep in blood and guts and latex all day? Like, I loved it. I learned how to work with photographers and lighting and backdrops. The class itself was just a motley crew of people. Like, it was just... I've never seen such a diverse group of people. It was fascinating. It's probably the only time I ever went to school and actually enjoyed it, even though, like, I didn't make any friends because I'm not really good at doing that kind of thing. But I do love to people watch. And you're in close quarters, like, all day. And it was, like, the best people watching I've ever done. It was like a year or something like that. It was great. And any reason to go into downtown Toronto, I am here for. I grew up in like a suburb of, and any reason to go downtown, like right into the city, was yes. My people are in the city. Heck yeah. I used to get to school at about 8:30. I had to take the GO train downtown and then take the subway. My school was on Yonge and Gerrard. It's like the red light district. And I can remember coming to school. I'd get there about 8:30. Classes started about 9. And there was, across the street from my school was Ryerson University. Right? All the film students, drama students, art students. It's a very interesting area. I can remember getting to school, and there was like a really old bookstore attached to my school. Had its own entrance and everything. It was really small, really old, and they sold coffee. And even though there was a second cup, like a block down, like a city block down, second cup was expensive, and I was a student, so, you know. Used to go into this bookstore and grab a coffee, and I'd, you know, sit out on there was like steps. Went up to the doors to the school. I'd sit in the doorway on the steps and have my coffee and a cigarette. And wait for all the administrators to get there to open up the school and stuff. And a couple times when I got there, there'd be a young lady sitting there against the wall, you know. End of her shift. She's looking pretty tired. Must have worked mad hard. And, like, hey, how you doing? I said, you look like you could use a coffee. She's like, all right, come with me. Take her into the bookstore. Get her coffee. And she'd sit on the stairs with me at the school and have her coffee, and we'd have a cigarette together. Man, if my mom knew when I was like 18, 19 years old that I was sitting in downtown Toronto talking to the hookers at 8 o'clock in the morning, she would have ripped my ass out of school. She was a really nice girl, though. Interesting lady to talk to. I miss Toronto. If I could afford to live there, I would be, well, if I could afford to live there and I didn't have kids, I would be back there in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I would live in a shoebox. I don't care. I love downtown anywhere. All the noise and lights and whatever. Always something to see, always something to do. And like I said, I love to people watch. And Toronto is an awesome place to people watch. I used to love, in high school, one of my favorite trips, and we did it like all through high school. It was a geography trip to Toronto. And they would bus us down to the Eaton Centre and then give us a map, like a hand-drawn map, and say, you know, you got to find this building, this building, this building, this building, whatever, and you had to be back at the Eaton Centre for 2:30 or whatever the hell to go home. I can't read a map to save my life, and I would get lost in a paper bag, so. But I'm really good with landmarks, and in Toronto there is a butt ton of landmarks, so I'm good. And you can see the Eaton Center and the CN Tower from just about anywhere, so it's fine. And for some reason, every year when we went, majority of the kids would follow me around the city, assuming I was doing the assignment, which I was not, and that I was following the map, which I was not. I was on the lookout for the record stores, like not like Sam the Record Man, not HMV. I mean, like the grungy, hole-in-the-wall record stores that sold records. Usually they had records and comic books, if I remember correctly. Like really old ones. I loved those places. And the leather stores and all that kind of stuff. And by the time they realized I wasn't following a map or doing the assignment, they had no choice but to stay with me because they didn't know where the frig they were. If they only knew that I had no idea where I was either. I can't remember what street we were on, but I found this shop, a leather shop. It was all like bike gear, right? Chaps, and leather jackets, and leather pants, and leather vests, and biker gloves. They even had the not boxing gloves, but the fight gloves. I wanted me a pair of those so bad. And the reason I went into the store is because I seen a guy walk in. He had just flicked a cigarette and turned around to go in the shop when I seen him. And he was a tall guy. He was massive. Well, to me, he was massive. I was like 15, so. And he was wearing a leather jacket with a jean jacket over top with the arms ripped off it and all frayed, and it was all like ripped up and had like pins and patches and whatever all over it, and all kinds of piercings. And he had this mohawk. Oh, it was gorgeous. Not like a thin little like 2000s type deal. It was a like full on 80s massive mohawk, and completely bald through the sides and everything, like massive, a real mohawk. It was beautiful. And it was like black or dark roots, and then it kind of faded into this like orange, like a bright neon orange. I had never seen neon color in hair before. I'd seen funky colors, but never neon. And unless it was a wig. And it went from this neon, like this dark, to this neon orange, into like a deeper orange, into a like yellowish sort of color. And oh, it was like looking into a sunset. It was beautiful. He's the reason why I went into that store. Everybody's following me. Where are we going? I was like, I don't care where you guys are going, but I'm going where dude is, because I gotta talk to him. He was awesome. Sat and talked to him for a little bit. He ended up working there. Tried to sell me some stuff. I was like, yeah. Sorry, dude, I'm 15. I'm here on a school trip and just avoiding my responsibilities. Can you direct me to the nearest, hole-in-the-wall record store? Because that's what I'm actually looking for. Such a good time. I used to love that trip. I looked forward to it every year. Never did the assignment. I always took a big 0 on that. I didn't care. remember my mom used to get all bent out of shape every year when I went on that trip because I used to wear colorful bandanas and my hair was always, nasty and greasy and spiked up and crimped and 6 feet in the air and all my piercings and everything and, my ripped jeans and whatever. My Doc Martens. And she'd be like, you need to tone it down when you go into the city. People are going to think you're in a gang. She'd try and take my bandanas from me because she thought that made you, like, people think that you were in a gang if you had a bandana. I don't know. She was funny. She'd take my bandana, get to school, pull the other one out of my backpack. I needed it. I used to tie them around my forehead because, if it happened to rain or something and my hair didn't stay up, it was all on my face. Needed something. She didn't understand. It's like, no, it's fine. It's all my people down there. It's great, So stupid. But I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. I think one of my favorite trips down into the city was I think I was in grade 10? Grade 10 or grade 11. I took a course. I think it was called Society Challenge and Change. And the reason I took it was because it was supposed to be about mental health and different disorders of the brain and all that kind of thing. And I find that stuff absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. I was 100% sure that I was going to be like some sort of like serial killer profiler or something when I was a teenager, right? That like I wanted to sit down with the the Charlie Mansons, and the Jeffrey Dahmers and the Ted Bundys, and the Son of Sams, all those people. Find out what makes them tick. So I took this course. And it was a good course. It wasn't nearly what I thought it was, but of course, it was high school. They don't teach you anything in high school. And the trip that we went on was to a place called the Clark Institute, which is, for lack of a better term, the loony bin in downtown Toronto. And I was so excited. Oh my God. And quite frankly, I don't even remember half the trip. Like, I was just so pumped. I don't even remember half the trip. I remember getting there on the bus. And when we got there, like, there was cops everywhere. Sirens going. It was absolute madness. We had to get escorted off the bus. I don't know if there was something going on in the Clark, or if there was just something going on the street. Like, it was Toronto. It's a big city, so shit goes down from time to time. But, so that was really exciting. And my teacher turned around to me and goes, "Oh, they're here for you, Jen." You're funny. I remember walking through the Clark. It's a massive building, really old. The architecture is quite interesting. But asking everybody that I saw in there if I could get me a straitjacket. I wanted to leave there with a straitjacket so bad. That was my mission. Was to leave the Clark Institute and bring a straitjacket home. My mom would shit her pants. She'd been like, typical. They would let you do that. I was asking really nice. I had one orderly actually pat me on the head. He must have thought I was out of my fucking mind. Be like, we'll be seeing you soon, honey. Well, if you don't ask, you don't know. So. That angle's got to be driving everybody crazy. We'll do this for a little bit until my hands hurt. My battery's just about dead, so if it cuts out, sorry. I think we might call this a story time. I started a playlist of story times because, I don't know, I thought it might be fun to tell a little story here and there, so I figure I never plan my videos, so I figure if something turns into something that feels like a story time, then I'll put it in the playlist. But yeah, I don't know. My vlogs are always kind of all over the place, aren't they, though? Yeah. It was nice to get out for a walk tonight. It's actually beautiful out right now. The mugginess is just about gone. There's a little breeze out here now. I got a new wig today. I love this color. It's just a really cheap one. Like, I have to wear a bandana to hide that you can see. But whatever. I couldn't pass up the cut. It's actually, I ordered this one like 5 months ago. I just got it. And it was supposed to be blue and then fade into yellow. And it's supposed to be like a wedge. Like this kind of deal. It's not at all what I ordered. But after 5 months, I don't give a fuck. And I do like the color. I just hate that it has that stupid bump. It was advertised as a lace front wig. And it's not. Actually, I've got several, you know, Facebook ads. Don't buy anything off of Facebook ads. You know, 4 wigs for $80, lace front wigs. You go, oh, we'll give it a shot for $80. I mean, whatever. They're never lace front wigs. You're lucky if you get anything remotely close to the color they show you, or the style, like the cut. So, and you'll be lucky if they're not just, like some of them that I've ordered are iron. They're ironed to a cap. They're not actually sewn in. It's not wefts. It's not worth it, because the first time you go to brush it out, all your hair falls out. It's a pain in the ass. If you want to save money, I recommend making your own damn wig, which is something I want to try and do badly. And extensions. I have everything I need to make extensions. I just need an extra pair of hands to hold stuff for me while I measure my head. And then I want to make me some extensions, because wearing wigs in the summer is friggin' hot as shit. But yeah, I don't mind the curl. I don't usually like curly wigs, but I kind of like the curl on this one. I don't know. They'll drop over time, but it's not bad. I want to try it tomorrow with some makeup did. Do my eyes all fancy. Make it pop. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm going to go because my battery's just about dead, so we'll call it a day. So, have a good evening, and probably talk tomorrow.